have been to many commissionings. Vishnu a few more than me because he's slightly older than me.
He wants to rub that in. But that's just a side dick. Carry on with the...
Yeah.
Indian Ocean is where the action is happening.
By the way, before we began this episode, Vishnu was walking around this gun right now and having a really good time.
So you just get the things, modules together, and you just put in the dry dock and tuck, everything comes together.
NDTV Control All Defense, powered by IFCO Tokyo. Greetings and welcome to perhaps the most special episode of Control Alt Defense. Vishnu and I today are standing on a piece of history.
Absolutely. I mean, it's incredible. Incredible warship, Project 17A, but I got to keep quiet, let you talk a bit. Otherwise, I'll just prat on all day.
Vishnu is a Navy geek, so I have to control him a little bit today. But when we say we're standing on a piece of history, I really mean it. We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship. She's called INS Udaygiri. And the reason why this is a piece of history is because for the first time, the Indian Navy isn't just inducting this particular ship, but two ships of this kind. For the first time ever, two big warships are being commissioned into service together. Now, if that isn't history, what is? The Indian Navy, an incredible service, a navy that is respected the world over, welcomes these two beautiful ships into service today. And we are so honored, Vishnu and I. How lucky are we to have the commanding officers of both those ships standing with us here today. That's right, on Control All Defense, Captain Chakravorty of INS Himgiri and Captain Vikas Sood of INS Udaygiri, the two newest warships, the pinnacle of warship construction. Incredibly proud day, Vishnu.
No, I remember, about 25 odd years back, Shiv, I was lucky enough to get on INS Delhi. And she was a stunning warship, still is. But you see that evolution over the decades to something like this, and to think that this design is entirely Indian, it's been built to an Indian requirement. First up, gentlemen, and Commodore, let me ask you first. You must be incredibly proud about this commissioning command. Tell us what that feels like for you.
We're standing on your ship right now.
Yeah, so it's an amazing feeling, I would say, because commissioning is like first of its kind. You set the traditions, you set the tone for the next 30 to 40 years of commission time. So it's a great honor that is bestowed on you by the Indian Navy, and a great responsibility that you have to thereafter deliver. And the most special thing that is there is that you are like a father to the entire crew of 250 men under you, whom thereafter you would be leading for the commissioning ceremony, followed by the time of operations ahead. So it's indeed a great feeling, an honor, and a proud privilege to be bestowed this opportunity.
Now, and we are so proud to be here on on an incredible day like this. So I can only imagine what it's like for them. Captain Chakravorty, not one but two warships. That's amazing. Vishnu and I, through our careers, have been to many commissionings. Vishnu a few more than me because he's slightly older than me.
He wants to rub that in. But that's just a side dick. Carry on with the...
Yeah, but two ships is incredible. I mean, that's tell us why that is so significant. The Indian Navy, with its huge expanding responsibilities, is hungry for more ships. So getting two ships at the same time is a bonus, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, of course. Like you said it yourself, the responsibilities are increasing. Indian Ocean is where the action is happening.
Yeah.
And Indian Ocean is going to be the future playground for all not just the navies, the nations around the world. And Indian Navy, as the preferred security partner, is very active in this area. Given the responsibility and the large area that is, the number of assets is required. And that's the reason we are getting these warships. They're not just numbers, it's not just the quantity, it's the quality of these warships also, because they have high speed and they have got very large endurance, and they can stay out at sea for long times. The frigates are very versatile ships to be. And so these two warships are going to add a punch, not just to the Eastern Naval Command, in particular, of course, Eastern Naval Command, but to the Indian Navy in general.
Yeah, and we're in Visakhapatnam, you know, the headquarters of the Eastern Naval Command. Beautiful naval city.
Yeah.
We've been here, you know, so many different
Yeah.
times. But, you know, I can't think of a time when we have been here at a time when two ships are being commissioned together. It's never happened before. But Vishnu, what are we standing in front of? You know, by the way, before we began this episode, Vishnu was walking around this gun right now and having a really good time. Vishnu, the weapons. Let's talk about the weapons right now.
No, I think the weapons are absolutely incredible. And Commodore, why don't you come in on this? This is an upgraded gun mount. Eventually, all of the ships of this class will have this upgraded gun mount. She carries BrahMos missiles, MR SAMs as well. How does this represent one of the most formidable capabilities for ships of this class, not just in the region, but anywhere in the world?
So Vishnu, I would like to highlight one very important aspect in this class of ships, and that is the indigenous fire punch that we pack with us.
Yeah.
So weapons, sensors are very complex systems, and very few countries across the world have this capability to have very potent and very credible weapon and sensor package. So what the P-17 Alpha class of ship gets to the table is the fact that the larger majority of our weapons are indigenous. They are built, designed, and operated and maintained thereafter throughout their life cycle by the companies and the wherewithal of India. And that's a really proud moment for us to have this opportunity and this capability with us that today we showcase. So if we take this, the super rapid gun mount, which is there in front of us, an amazingly formidable weapon capable of deploying ammunition across multi-domains for multi-role, multi-tasks. So the SRGM is one of the best weapons in the world, and we proudly host this on board our class of ship. Addition to this is also the BrahMos, which you spoke of. It's proven its mettle, its battle worthiness, and we feel amazingly proud to be today here having this capability with us. Again, an indigenous capability. What you see thereafter is also the integrated rocket launcher. So whilst we are very formidable in the above water warfare, the underwater warfare itself is also a very challenging domain that we face today. And in that also, if you see the package that we have with us, the integrated rocket launchers, 2 of them, they are again indigenous in nature and give us great capability. When I speak of the sensors also, the sonar, it's a Hamsa Mark 3 sonar that we are operating.
Indian sonar.
It's an Indian sonar. So that gives us the immense pride of hosting the entire capability which we are hosting is of indigenous nature. This AK-630 gun that we have, which has got huge firepower, is again something which is indigenous, made in Indian product, very reliable and battle hardened. So I would say over and all, the key takeaway of this platform would be that how we have grown as a Navy, of having made huge investments in indigenization, and this is not a product of I would say a decade's investment. It has been an investment of a long time, a vision of the Indian Navy to have our indigenous products, and we today very proudly showcase them to the entire world and to the Navy.
Captain, there is also this evolution of the design of warships itself. For example, we are standing on a flush deck. That means it's quite easy to fall off, but there's a reason you've done that. You want to ensure that she's a more stealthy ship at one level. But this is a follow-on design from the Shivalik class, very different in many ways, similar in other ways. And that's a process. It's a process over decades. How is this an Indian warship for Indian requirements, designed by Indian architects? It's not something you buy from a supermarket and make do with. It's exactly the way you want it, right?
So just if you allow me to build upon what Commodore Sood said, if I have to add one more line, I'll say incredible firepower, credible effects, and formidable presence. But this comes along with the stealth. You're talking about design. The main concept behind the design of these ships that you see, the reason why, though we won't let you fall off the deck, but of course the enemy will fall off this chair trying to find us on the radar. we are very stealthy in the sense because the design has been made in such a way that it reflects the radar waves away. And the stealth is not just in the radar over the sea that you're seeing. It's also got acoustic stealth. That means
It's a quiet ship.
submarines, yes, it's a very quiet ship. So submarines will find it difficult to catch us on the sonar. So he won't be able to see us there. We are invisible on the battlefield itself. And also the infrared signatures of the ship, the things which are coming out from the gases and all, from the engines and all, they're also cooled. So we have also got infrared stealth. So stealth in all domains. Yeah. We are across the thing. And talking about the construction that you're talking about is that the ship is not just the built from the keel up, as used to be the erstwhile ships.
The keel is the hull.
Yes,
basically.
the hull.
Yeah.
So earlier ships used to be built up from the hull upwards. This ship has been, it's a modular kind of a ship, like we really see in our, stuff which has been done everywhere. Nowadays construction is very modular. This allows us to make the ship faster, and not just faster, smarter, because the different parts are made in different shipyards.
So the ship is being built in slices.
Built in slices, and they're brought together.
Amazing.
And so you can engage different MSMEs, you can engage different shipyards, you can engage different people. It gets done faster. It occupies less of time on your planning schedule, and it occupies less time on the dry dock, because dry dock is a premium in India and anywhere in the world. Dry docks are the place where the ship is put and put up together. So you just get the modules together, and you just put in the dry dock, and tuck, everything comes together, and the ship is built up, and it's good to go. So it's not just faster, it is smarter.
So and this basically means the shipyard doesn't have, I use the word waste because I can't find a better word, but that space doesn't need to be wasted, waiting around for the entire, long process of the keel up sort of build. But this also means that these can be built much faster and at short notice, I'm assuming. So if theoretically, this is the second and the third ship of this class to be commissioned this year. That's incredible, right? With the INS Nilgiri, which is the lead ship of the class, was in January this year. You've got these two ships now. The others will come very soon after. So that's like a incredible rate.
That is truly incredible India and incredible shipbuilding, I would say.
Yeah.
Warship building.
But what's interesting is that these ships are being built in two parts of the country, separated by the peninsula itself, in Mumbai at Mazgaon and Garden Reach in Kolkata. That shows a great deal of confidence in the ability of different shipyards to build something complex. Ultimately, if you don't trust a shipyard to build to a particular standard, the Navy won't accept the ship. So there is trust reposed at so many levels. Would you agree? I mean, either of you?
Absolutely. In fact, the good part is that it adds to a strategic depth of warship building. We have now multiple yards which are building warships. And the good part is that both the warships are exactly the same. If you stepped on this warship and I blindfolded you and I took it to the other ship and I would put you there, you would not, to a discerning eye, you would not find many differences between both the ships. Maybe little aesthetics here and there, but the ships are predominantly the same. And two shipyards like you just brought out on both sides of the peninsula, getting it together in time, and it is a big achievement.
No, and I want to emphasize that what Vishnu said, because a warship is an incredibly complex machine. I mean, I can't even think of how many millions of parts, big and small, go into the construction of something like this. So, to do it in a modular fashion in two different shipyards separated by the peninsula, I mean, hats off to all of the workers and construction engineers and people who've actually put it together. It's truly a big feat. I want to come now, Commodore Sood, to the aerial threat. We know in the modern battle space that drones, missiles are all threats to warships, no matter how stealthy they may be. Tell us about these ships. How are they protected against the aerial threat in terms of missiles, guns, sensors? How does it all come together to sort of create a protection for these ships?
Yeah, so I would say, like, in the present developing threat scenario which we are encountering across the globe, I think so the largest strides are being made in the domain which you are speaking of, that is the aerial domain. So to counter the threats which are existing in the aerial domain, this platform is very formidable, very capable. The MF star radar of this platform can pick up air targets missiles at extended ranges. The ship is able to provide not only a point defense to itself, but it's got the capability to defend a large fleet which is traveling together, to provide support and protection to vital assets which it may be tasked to protect. So in multiple domain, the ship has got capability, and as has been the concept of the Navy, that redundancy and providing multiple layers of defense is what we work on. So in this ship as well, we have got a layered defense system in which in the aerial domain, when we are looking towards that, starting off from a far range of roughly about 70 to 80 odd kilometers onwards, when we are looking at threat which may be emanating. We have got a layered defense in which right from our missiles to the multiple guns which are available on board the ship, they'll be able to deter any kind of threat which is trying to either threaten the ship or the fleet which the ship would be operating towards. It has got really credible systems. And the fundamental of that continues to remain a layered concept and a huge amount of redundancy, because as you all understand that when we go to battle, you have to be prepared for problems, issues, threats which are there which you have to tackle. So you have to have invested heavily in a lot of redundancy which this platform is able to pack together.
Captain, integration is difficult. It's not easy at the best of times. In as much as this is an Indian warship, there are many weapon systems which are of a foreign design, many made in India, but there are some foreign components as well. And integrating it all must be very difficult. One system built in one part of the world needs to talk to another system built in another part of the world. That means a lot of software. That means a lot of software engineering. You showed us a few of the multifunction displays and how it's, it's one massive computer at one level, this entire warship. Could you tell us how that's a huge challenge in, realizing the potential of this warship?
So it's nothing new to the Indian Navy. Actually, Indian Navy has been, at the forefront of incorporating the best technologies from across the world. You are aware that you've been to the previous ship. You mentioned Delhi, which was another indigenous destroyer that we had, and it also had weapons from various places. So we had Russian, we have the NATO versions. We have been very good at integrating these things and operating them very well, and achieving what we have to achieve. In our case, we have got a very nice a CMS, the combat management system, which runs all the systems are talking to each other. There's a one single backbone on which everything is running.
The CMS is Indian. It's a completely Indian thing.
In fact, when you say the other things are from other countries, they may have originated in other countries. They are transfer of technology to the Indian firms which are working with them. We are making them in India. You may say that the gun is Italian, but of course it's being made by BHEL, and it has got transfer of technology here. Similar is with MRSAM, BrahMos. It's a collaboration. We call them. We consider them primarily Indian. We don't. When we look at it, I'm a gunnery officer, and I don't look at it as it's a Russian weapon or anything. I see them all as Indian weapons, and they are totally enmeshed and integrated into our system. Talking about integration, I will add to the previous question that you had made about, we're not just united in the battlefield, which is a call sign that Udaygiri uses, but we are also integrated, because when we are outside tomorrow, when Udaygiri and Himgiri are together, and probably Nilgiri also, I could be firing from Nilgiri with the radar of Himgiri. I'm tracking something, and Nilgiri and Udaygiri are not transmitting, and I could vector the missiles from them and fire it onto. So the enemy doesn't know that there are 3 warships around. As it is, we are stealth warships. So I'm the one who's transmitting, and the entire thing is seamless. It's not just within the ship. The flow of information is seamless between the ships also. So the entire fleet is integrated.
So that big thing you see right on top of the ship is the MF star. That's that. The brains and the eyes maybe of the ship itself.
Systems.
Yeah, one of 2 systems. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's the first thing that hits you in the face when you look at this ship from any angle. That's an incredible, geometrical shape up there. Tell us a little bit about what's in there. Can anybody go in there? I'm going to ask questions that the public will be wondering.
You'll get fried if you
and
go
what
in there.
And what can that thing do? What does it do?
It does everything that it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It is our eyes in the air. It's one of the best systems in the world. We know, and I won't be, I'm not sure how much I can tom-tom about this. And,
Oh,
but
please feel free.
when an aircraft takes off from the air runway, we know that it's in the air. We'll catch it on the runway. It is that good. The system is that good, and it's not just you don't see any revolving parts in it. You don't know the radar is transmitting, or unlike the other radars which revolve, it is automatically steered. In automatically electronically steered arrays, and it's not just high range, it's high accuracy and phenomenal redundancy, because each wall is provides redundancy to the other wall. And like I said, you can contacts that track here and go on to the other thing. So it may look like a Christmas tree. It definitely has got a lot of gifts hanging on it that the country officers
Gifts
of my
that can
ship.
spoil your day. The other person's day.
Yeah.
I would also like to
Yeah,
add to this that the accuracy in today's battle space is very important. In the older times, we had to have the target to ammunition ratio was very high. So for each target which you were trying to target, you had to dump a lot of ammunition onto it. A lot of ordnance was required for that. What this system brings along with its range and its capability is the fact, the accuracy. So we have reached the stage where we can very proudly boast of the fact that one single ammunition or one single missile is good enough to bring down an aircraft or bring down a missile. So with that kind of accuracy, the potent capability which brings to the table is immense, because the number of assets, very vital assets of the enemy, which we can bring down with just a single round of SRGM or a single missile of MRSAM that is fired, kind of gives us huge capability, gives us the flexibility that we don't need to get back to the harbor to replenish up, because what we are containing and what we are traveling along with us is very capable, and it will last us a long battle also. So that's another.
And this again is a question for both of you. A ship is only as good as her crew, and I think one of you just mentioned that you are the father figure on board the ship. How much of your day, particularly in a pre-commissioning scenario, goes into the management of personnel on board, whether it's discipline, whether it's shabash, whether it's just functions, because without that nothing moves. I mean, literally, right?
They are large ships. We have large manpower, but they are also smart ships. So we have cut down a lot of manpower. So we are very lean manning. So there are very few people compared to a ship of this class would have actually had. We have got probably half of that on our ship. So we are very lean and mean in that sense. Having said that, a large part of my day goes in management of these people on board, because the more important than the machine is the man behind the machine, man or woman in this case, of course. But because they are very important to us. We're not just father figure. We are one team in a ship. Unlike in some other places, it's one man who's doing the job. In a ship, the entire ship does the job. Either the ship achieves its mission. It's not that the foxhole will achieve its mission, the quarterdeck cannot achieve its mission. Either the ship achieves the mission. So we are in one team. So all of us are in it together. We are in the same boat in that sense. So,
Commodore, so with all this automation, that has come into modern ships like the Udaygiri and the Himgiri, has that changed what a typical day on board a ship during deployment is like? Both of you have served on ships, when ships didn't have much automation. So I imagine a lot of things needed to be done manually, needed to be inspected personally by the CEO. With automation now, has that come down, or you still need to do quite a bit?
So what Captain Robin had brought out, that the integration and the automation which we have been able to achieve is existing not only at one level, but right from weapons to the sensors, and thereafter going down to the machinery itself. So there are huge amount of integrated systems on board the ship. Like, I'll just make a mention of them. Like, we're starting off with the MRSAM complex, which is there. So it's a system of systems which is coming together to reduce the number of people who are required. If we talk of the machinery, we have the integrated platform management system, which is getting the entire machinery complex together. There are nearly 13,000 sensors which are sensing the very vital parameters of our critical machinery across the ship. So they are helping us in reducing the manpower, because now you don't any longer require physical people sitting in front of equipment monitoring parameters or seeing gadgets and digits in front of them and then reporting back. Then when we talk of the navigation system, we have the integrated bridge management system, so which is providing us with a integrated picture of the navigation scenario which is existing around. So collectively, what we observe after this is that whilst at one side we have been able to reduce the manpower, but at the same time there is a huge amount of I would say technology which has come into play. And the Indian Navy, I would very proudly want to bring out is the fact that the men and the officers who man these platforms are exposed to one of the most sophisticated and advanced systems, technology, and they have absorbed this, they have understood it, they are operating it, and going beyond, they are very confidently maintaining this. And right from a senior officer who has spent enough time on board to the youngest Agniveer who's coming today is being trained regularly, and in a very professional manner they are being exposed to this entire complex system and technology in a very fine manner through the naval system.
Captain, she's a floating power plant as well, right?
Yes.
The management of power for all your systems, for the propulsion itself, must be huge. How do you do that?
So we have, I presume that you mean the propulsion power. And
So
also
two parts,
there's
the electricity generation and
generation.
obviously propulsion.
So we have specialist people on board. The officers have been trained. They're specifically trained on gas turbines, specifically trained on the diesel engines. Like I mentioned before, the gas turbines for the audience probably, but it gives us speed. Right. It gives us, we are a Ferrari. We call ourselves the grey Ferraris. And the diesels give us the
Grey Ferraris, nice one.
we can go on for ages and ages. That gives us versatility and endurance, persistence at sea. So we have dedicated people who do that things, and it is they're new age systems. They're very sophisticated. My dad was an engineer, and those engine rooms of those days, yesteryears, and the engine rooms of now. There's a hell lot of difference. I mean,
These are positively comfortable. I went to INS Virat way back in the day, coal-powered ship. And man, you go in over there, you come back 10 kilos, lighter, leaner. But it's not so anymore. I mean, it's fully air-conditioned, but that's because there are so many critical items. But yeah, please go ahead with that thought.
So we generate enough power to, the engineers move the ship. They're the horsepower for the ship. And of course, nothing in the ship can run without the electrical personnel. Each system, they're the silent warriors, because each system requires power generation. Each system requires the sensors, requires maintenance. That's done by the electrical guys. And we have enough, power on board to run all this weaponry at the same time, or segregated in different forms as the need be. Whether we are doing an air combat, we are doing underwater combat. So we segregate our power accordingly. But yes, we are capable enough to stay long at sea.
Yeah, these grey Ferraris, as you said, and I'm only going to refer to them as grey Ferraris now because I love that. INS Himgiri and INS Udaygiri, which we're standing on. International diplomacy is one.
If I could correct you, there's a grey safari because we won't go Indian.
Okay, done. Okay, fine. It's a grey safari. Okay.
In some parts of our country, people drive safaris like Ferraris.
They do. That is very true, sadly. But the international diplomacy is one very important part of what the Navy does, right? We constantly see Indian Navy ship, at some port somewhere, Africa or Australia, or South America, wherever it is. So I want to talk about how our ships compared to international ships. What do foreign navies say when they see our ships? Because Vishnu and I think this is like the pinnacle of warship construction. I mean, we've reached a certain level for sure. Are we world class?
We are definitely world class. In fact, the Eastern Fleet is just back from its overseas deployment, and if you just went onto Twitter and saw this exercise of the foreign countries, multiple nations, you would realize that our ships are not just cut above. I don't want to compare. I don't want to get into a competitive mode, but we are there. If that was a word I would put, we are just aiming to be better than what we were yesterday. So you see a gradual progression in the class of ships, in the kind of sensors that we are having in the sense of weaponry. We are not comparing with anybody else. We don't want to go there. We are just getting better each and every day with every new ship which is coming. We are getting better, and I can assure you that when the guys, when the foreign other country guys come on board, soldiers, navy people, or civilian dignitaries, they you can watch that twinkle in the eye and say,
Eyes pop out.
yeah. So India has arrived.
Commodore, integral air. You would be flying MH-60 Romeo helicopters off the deck of this warship. That's a phenomenal capability, both offensive and defensive. We've spoken about the gun, the missiles, but the helicopter lends a huge potential, or adds to the war-fighting potential of this ship. How?
So I would say, like we were talking of the Grey Safari, the very famous connotation when it comes to the helicopters of the modern warship, we call them the flying frigates.
Yeah.
Okay, so a helicopter on board a platform is a frigate in itself. It's a multi-role platform, which is, as you have rightly brought out, that there's a sensor in both the above water domain as well as the underwater domain. They've got credible offensive capabilities of air launch anti-shipping missiles. They've got torpedoes which can target the submarines. So they themselves are on their own a very credible platforms itself. In addition, with these platforms on board a ship which is capable of going 2,000 to 5,000 nautical miles, these frigates move along with the ship and they get their added range through the ships. So it's a benefit for both the sides, because the flying frigates get their much desired sea endurance, but what the ship gets is, in its physical geographic location, it is getting the capability of this flying frigate, which is able to reach out in excess of 200 to 400 nautical miles beyond the ship's physical presence. It's a added platform which it's traveling along with it.
Every ship class that comes along, sirs, is an incremental improvement over the the last one. I remember I was on board INS Shivalik when she was being commissioned. I think Vishnu was also there. We were there together many years ago when it was being commissioned. That was the Project 17. This is Project 17 Alpha. Many people will wonder about that. Why not just build the old? Why does it need a new? What does that Alpha really mean? Can you explain that to us? What is this incremental shift in capability in these ships that we're standing on?
So incidentally, I am the commissioning crew of Satpura, the second of the P-17 ships.
Right.
And Himgiri is the
so
second
you know both
of the P-17
intimately.
Alphas. Yes.
Yeah.
Alpha is a punch that we have grown, particularly about these ships, 17 Alphas, I would say. Destroyers are huge, big. They've got a lot of firepower. Frigates are more versatile. Here, we have got the hull design of a frigate. We are versatile. We got the engine, made in such a way that we got GTs and diesels. We are very versatile, like the frigates. We have got the firepower of a destroyer, most of the destroyers. So we are not the D. Destroyers are D, and we are frigates at the F. I would put myself as an E, or somewhere in between both of them. In that sense, we got the best of both on these class of ships. Navy is actually our warship design bureau and our DSR, and where we all design what is going to come on which ship and all these things. So we have come to a good mix of both, best of both worlds in this class of ships. So if you see the hull design, we would more match the P-17, like you said. We are more akin to the P-17 as a sister ship of P-17. We are a natural, follow-on from the P-17. But the weapons are from the 15 Bravos, or 15 Alphas, 15 Bravos. So we've got a mix of both of them. So we are sisters to both of them. With follow-on.
There's a question again to both of you, which they were discussing with us before we began this. They had to join the forces in a sense. No, I'm joking. They wanted to because their parents were in the armed forces. You're what, fourth generation? Or
No, I'm the second generation.
second generation? And you're
They're
fourth
both
generation?
second generation
No,
naval
no,
officers,
no.
and he's a fourth generation forces
forging.
officer.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about that. I mean, it's this family tradition continuing, but it's clearly something you wanted to do. Your father was on a Leander class, right?
Both our fathers have been or served on Leander class. My father was an engineer.
And the significance of Leander is obviously the names of the ships. I mean, there was an old Udaygiri, an old Himgiri, or old Taragiri, which in the past were Leander class ships, and now you've got this. And so your parents served on the old ships with the same name.
Even I served on the old ship. When I joined the Navy, I did my midshipman time on Udaygiri.
I see.
And that was my first ship, and which is the next ship to come out from the GRC anyways. I studied not too far from here in the Naval Children's School here. I was studying here. Visakhapatnam is the city of destiny in that sense for me. But yeah, it is a deja vu, it's a feeling of deja vu. Earlier I used to come in as a son of the officer on board, and I would be pampered by young lieutenants there. Now I am pampering those young kids who are coming on board, trying to inspire them to join the Navy and show them what they are in for, and show them that the future is bright in the Navy.
No, it's incredible. Commodore Sood, your father as well was a naval officer and
Yeah, so
served on board a Leander.
So my father actually served for 2.5 years on board the old Udaygiri.
Oh, wow! So
I have the proud distinction of serving on board my father's ship itself, as we have it in the army.
Is he going to be here for the commissioning? Or?
Yeah, he'll be there for the
wonderful.
commissioning. Really motivated at that stage, and I would say I always aspired to be a naval officer myself, seeing my father all these years, and it's a great feeling, and it's a really proud feeling. Navy is not a service, it's not a job for us, it is like a way of life. We kind of feel really happy to be part of this. Wearing this whites gives you immense pride. I still remember just wearing a ribbon on your chest in our younger age used to give us so much sense of satisfaction and so much immense pride that we used to derive out of that. So being a second generation naval officer, I think so it's a great feeling, and to have been serving on board your father's unit itself is really special in itself, and he's also a really proud father. And both the ships, I think so, they are state of the art. They, during the time when they were in commission, the most formidable platforms that the Indian Navy had. But we have travelled a huge distance from the erstwhile Udaygiri, the Giri class, to the now new avatar that they are come about. So I would say the Navy has grown leaps and bounds, and we are very proud to be part of that legacy and the journey that we are having now.
Well, gentlemen, it's been wonderful speaking to you, and it's been a real privilege for Shiv and me just to see the process of evolution in the Indian Navy over so many decades. Congratulations once again on commanding warships like this. Absolutely state of the art, absolutely made in India, and may she sail well and may you serve well. Thank you very much for joining us on NDTV.
Shano Varuna, fair winds, happy hunting in your grey safaris, and hopefully once you're out there, Vishnu and I will be invited back on board when the cameras have to be off. Hopefully that will also happen at some point. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.